Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited for today's video in honor of the Sephora Vib sale going on. I thought it would be fun to reflect back on my Sephora Vib sale purchases, both spring and winter of 2022, and talk to you guys about whether or not the purchases that I made during the Sephora Vib sales last year were worth it. And I will say one of my shopping trips last year was definitely a lot more successful than the other. Not every purchase is a good one, and we're going to reflect on that today. So if you're interested, stay tuned for this video. You have to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love for you to consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. All right, guys, we're gonna start with the spring savings event of 2022 because I definitely purchased a lot more last spring, and there's quite a few products from my spring purchase that are no longer in my collection. So I have the list of products pulled up in front of me so that we can quickly go through them. The first product that I no longer have is actually one that I used up. And if I'm remembering correctly, I may have actually bought it during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, but it was like right around the time of the Sephora Vib sale. And that is the the Benefit Super Setter Setting Spray, and I actually did use this up, and this is something that I definitely would consider purchasing again. I do really feel like this product makes a difference in really gripping my makeup to my face and prolonging the wear of my makeup for the day. So I really did enjoy that product. I used it up to completion, and that was something that definitely was worth it in my opinion. And actually, I'm realizing I thought there were two products I no longer had in my collection, but I think it's just one. So a product that I did end up decluttering was the Milk Makeup Bionic Bronzer, this liquid bronzer. This just didn't work for me. I didn't really enjoy the formula, and I felt like it was too, like the shade that I got was too warm. It was too sheer. So I decluttered this product, and I have a bin of like decluttered makeup that's currently at my mom's house. I am considering pulling that back out and trying to use it as like a body bronzer, because I really enjoyed using liquid bronzers on like my chest and neck area this past spring summer, and it would be a way for me to like get use out of this product so it doesn't totally go to waste. But on the face, I just felt like it was too sheer, too warm, and I just did not end up loving that product, so I did end up decluttering that. Everything else I do still have in my collection, so we'll go through all those really quickly. This looks so dirty, but I absolutely love the Isle of Paradise tanning water. So I did purchase another tanning water. I think I just purchased the refill so that I could pour it into this mister. This is like the best mister ever. You get such an even tan with it, and I really do love it. So if you can find this product specifically from Isle of Paradise, which I did get this at Sephora, I would highly recommend picking this up and then just buying the refillable pouches from Isle of Paradise. I do love a tanning water when I specifically I'm not wanting to like if I'm doing it before bed and I'm not wanting to get like self tan all over my sheets. I do love a tanning water. I have gotten back into tanning mousses as well, but the Isle of Paradise tanning, like I have literally gone through probably 7 or 8 Isle of Paradise tanning waters. I love that formula so much. I find that I get a really nice tan with it, and it lasts a decent amount of time as well. So purchase that. I did purchase a couple of First Aid Beauty skincare products during the sale last year as well, and I still have both of them in my collection. I have not been on a good skincare routine. I've kind of just been cycling through whatever products I have in my collection, but I love First Aid Beauty as a brand. So I wanted to purchase a mask last spring sale because I wanted something to just treat myself when I was feeling stressed. 2022 was an incredibly stressful year of life. So I ended up purchasing the First Aid Beauty Pharma Arnica Relief and Rescue Mask. I have gone through about half of this. I do really like this. I don't feel like it makes the biggest difference. I don't feel like it ultra hydrates my skin, but I have had this, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see, I have had this very interesting like itchy rash on my arm this probably the past like 8 or 9 months. It like comes and goes with stress. I don't know if I have like psoriasis and I just don't know, or if I have like eczema and I just like haven't been diagnosed. There is like nothing that I found for like true relief though, like except for itching. which just makes it worse. I will say the Pharmacy honey moisturizer is like the best I've found. I've used like hydrocortisone. I think it's hydrocortisone. And then I've also used, I also will say I do like the, what is it? Eucerin. But I've used like Aquaphor, and I don't know what's going on with my rash. But occasionally I will just put this on my little rash, and I do feel like it helps for that. I've mostly been using this product for that this year, not as much on my face. This is supposed to be for soothing and de-stressing. I don't feel like I have like the most stressed out skin. I definitely have very dry skin, but I more so use this on my rash than my face, which it's perfect for that because it's perfect for sensitive skin. And then I had gone through a little mini of this, possibly also a full size, and I knew I wanted to repurchase this. It's the First Aid Beauty Skin Lab Resurfacing Liquid. I, again, just have not been in a good skincare routine, but this is almost empty. And this is something that I definitely would purchase again. I do feel like this makes a really big difference just in my skin being less dull, and being not flaky, and just helping, hopefully, with anti-aging. I still do want to get Botox, but I do highly recommend this product, especially if you're looking for like a resurfacing, exfoliating product that is good for sensitive skin. So there's that. And then I did purchase 2 full-size fragrances last spring. I was like, dang, I actually did purchase quite a bit of fragrance last year. We'll get into more fragrance here in a minute. I ended up purchasing quite a bit, but I purchased even more fragrance this year. And I know you guys keep asking me for a fragrance collection. There are a few fragrances I plan to pick up during this Sephora Vib sale, and then I will film that video before the end of the year, I promise. But I picked up from Giorgio Armani the My Way perfume. I picked up a full size of this. I had a travel size of this and really fell in love with the scent. I will say, I'm not as in love with this scent as I used to be, and I think that's just because I've been trying so many more fragrances. I still made like a decent dent in this this past spring, but I mean, there's still a ton of product left in this, and this is definitely more of a spring/summer scent to me, but we got a ways to go to finish this off. And then the other fragrance, I was absolutely in love with this last year. I didn't reach for this one as much this past spring summer, not because I don't like this product, but because my fragrance collection had grown so much, and I wanted to like be using everything. I was having fun buying and trying new things, but I do have a decent dent going in this one as well. I am like right about here, so a decent dent. And I had first purchased a travel size of this last spring as well before going on to purchase the full size. So I went through that travel size and then moved on to this. This is from Alice Brooklyn. It is the Sunfruit perfume. This is definitely not as heavy, but it is just such a nice light scent. I'm really bad at explaining like actual like scents and the fragrance notes, which is part of the reason I have been holding off doing a fragrance collection. I also have a couple of different fragrances on me right now that are much heavier, so I don't know. Oops. This just actually smells like fruit in the summer. I believe there's a fig note in this, but for me, I almost get more like, more like, I want to say like a pineapple hairspray, which sounds so disgusting, but like, it really isn't like the best way. I wore this almost every single day last summer. I really enjoyed that. And I also would get compliments on this. My only gripe with this is I don't feel like it has a really good like longevity. It doesn't have a great wear time, maybe like 6 hours. And it's just a nice, light, sunny, bright sort of scent. And I really enjoyed that one. So that was worth the purchase as well for me. Everything else is makeup. And there's only one product that I'm really like, about, and that is this one from IT Cosmetics. It's the CC Nude Glow Tinted Moisturizer. I do like this, but it's just not my absolute favorite go-to for, you know, a foundation sort of product. It is definitely glowier, so I feel like if you don't like a glow to the skin, I would definitely skip this. I mean, glow is literally in the name, but it's glowier even sometimes. Like, it can lean a little extra glowy even for my liking, and I definitely like, well, I would say my favorite finish is probably like a satin matte, and then like I do like a healthy skin-like glow, but nothing beyond that. Whereas sometimes I feel like this can go beyond that. And I also just feel like the IT Cosmetics CC creams are so full coverage sometimes, and that's just really not my jam. So I probably didn't need to purchase this. I was really into purchasing foundations last year. I still love to test and try foundations. So I definitely bought into the hype of, I believe this was a new release last summer, and I was like, oh my gosh, like glowy summer skin with SPF 40, I'm gonna love it. And it just didn't turn into an absolute favorite. I mean, this goes without saying, I absolutely love this. I picked up the Lawless Forget the Filler in the shade Annie. You guys know, favorite lip product of all time. I love the shade Annie. It's this really beautiful pale pink with like a hint of a shine without being like gritty or textured. I love a pale lip, so I just think this is so beautiful. This is definitely a shade that I would purchase again. I have owned quite a few Lawless Forget the Fillers in my day. I recently finished up Daisy or Daisy Girl, which was like a cool baby toned pink. I don't feel like I need that one again. I would definitely also pick up the original Lawless Forget the Filler, which I've finished and emptied out. This is another one, like this shade specifically, I would/will repurchase just because I love a pale lip. So I do plan on picking up Cherry Vanilla during the Sephora Vib sale. I'm excited for like a red Lawless Forget the Filler, but I mean, just pick a shade. And I promise, I hope, you are not disappointed by the Forget the Filler formula because it's a favorite for me. Okay, I also picked up the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serum. I really enjoy this. And I was definitely more obsessed with this last year than I am this year. So this is one of those like twist up glossy lipsticks. Like it's like a lip gloss, but it's in lipstick form. It definitely does have like a minty sensation to it, but it's not like painfully plumping. It gives a really, really, really beautiful shine to the lips. And I think it's a beautiful formula. I definitely, like last year was like, ooh, I want this in more shades. I think where I'm at now with this product is I think this is very expensive, and if I'm paying like $24, $25, $26, I'd rather get the Lawless Forget the Filler because it's easier to apply and I like the finish of this better than I do the Makeup by Mario. Do I still think this is a beautiful product? Yes. Do I think it was worth the purchase? Yes, because I love to try and test new makeup, but I think I've come to the conclusion that I will not purchase this or any other shades when I finish this, unless like a shade came out that I was just super drawn to, but I just would rather all the Lawless Forget the Fillers. I did pick up two cream/liquid blushes during the spring sale. So I picked up the Huda Beauty Coral Cutie Cheeky Tint, as well as the Say Dewy Blush in the shade Poppy. I've talked a lot about how much I love the Say blush formula. I want to pick up the little trio during this Sephora Vib sale. I definitely picked up two blushes that were like essentially the same shade, both a really beautiful kind of poppy coral sort of shade. So this is the Say formula, this is the Huda Beauty, and I think both purchases were worth it. I think it's a really beautiful blush shade. I definitely really enjoyed this sort of blush shade both last summer as well as this summer. I definitely use the Say more. It's more pigmented, but if I am wanting something more sheer, and actually as I'm thinking through it, I have been trying to use up my Glossier Cloud Paint this year. So on days that I'm not going in with foundation, but I still want some color to the cheeks, I've been using my Glossier Cloud Paint. But I think after that's complete, like next year when I'm going in with no foundation but want color to the cheeks, I think that the Huda Beauty Cheeky Tint would be a great option just because it is pretty sheer. Like I know it looks really pigmented here, but you can really sheer this out to just be this beautiful glow of color to offer, again, like that little bit of a glow that I personally really love on the cheeks and a little bit of color without being too much. This is definitely something I have also eyed more shades in this and would potentially pick up. Well, I picked up a Sephora holiday set that had another shade in the Say, and I specifically wanted the holiday set both for the makeup bag as well as I was like, ooh, another shade of the Say. I already mentioned I plan to pick up the trio during the Sephora Vib sale, so this is definitely a win, definitely worth it. I enjoy the formula. I want more shades. This is something I have also eyed the shades and could see myself repurchasing a different shade of this in the future as well. So really enjoyed both those. I felt like both of those were worth it. I also picked up the Rose Ink Concealer and I really enjoyed this. My only gripe with this is that I picked a shade that's almost always too dark for me. You do get a really big doe foot with this product. And it's definitely, it's almost like a velvety texture. It is a little bit thicker, but blended out, it doesn't look heavy, it doesn't feel heavy, and I love the coverage that it offers. Again, I just have a shade that's not the right shade for me. This would rank up there in my top like 3 concealers. I feel like this offers more coverage even than the Kosas, while still offering almost like a sheen, not being like super matte. I don't love a super matte anything, while still offering almost like a satin matte sort of finish. This definitely has a really good dry down on its own, and I don't feel like it needs to be set with a powder. So if you don't love to set your under eyes with a powder, I think it's a great product, and I feel like this was also worth the purchase. Would have been more worth it if I picked a better shade, but still worth the purchase in my opinion. And then I have a face palette as well as an eyeshadow palette, and I'm like nervous to talk about this eyeshadow palette because I feel like there's so much controversy right now with the Patrick Ta eyeshadows, but I did purchase the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 eyeshadow palette. I know a lot of people have had issues with mold growing in their Patrick Ta palettes, and it sounds like the customer service surrounding that has not been great. I have not had any issues with either of my palettes, so I can only speak on my own experience. I really do like the Patrick Ta eyeshadow formulas. I like his palettes in that you have these mattes down below and a range of textures, of metallic textures on the top. I definitely prefer the Major Dimension 1 to the Major Dimension 2, but if you like a rosy shadow, a rosy warm shadow, I think you'll really, really enjoy this palette. I also really love this duochrome shade up here, and I also like the addition of the cream shadows. So for me, I think this is worth the purchase, but just be leery and be warned, people have had mold issues with that palette. And then definitely worth the purchase. This is one of my favorite purchases of 2022. I have the Natasha Denona face palette, Glam face palette. So within this, you're getting 5 beautiful eyeshadows. I love the 2 metallic shades in here because you can kind of sheer them out to just be this wet, glossy finish, or you can really build them up to be very, either way, they're very sparkly. Like, you're definitely gonna be sparkling. It's not gonna be this subtle sheen of color, but you can build it up to be a lot more intense. And then you also have a cream blush and a really beautiful highlight as well. I love the matte browns. Sometimes I feel like Natasha Denona always leans a little bit pink, which just annoys me because I also feel like Charlotte Tilbury leans pink, Pat McGrath leans pink. Maybe I should just really lean into but I love warm browns. And I took this traveling with me. I traveled quite a bit in 2022 for work, and I took this with me every time. It was perfect, and this was definitely worth the purchase. All right, so that brings us to the holiday savings event last fall winter time for Sephora, and my purchase was definitely smaller, and I can say the majority of these products, like, I really do absolutely love. I think my biggest bust would be the Refi primer, and I'm like, did I purchase this during the VIB sale? I don't remember that, or maybe I purchased it like right before. Regardless, this was a big bust for me. I just don't feel, I feel like, first of all, this is how you apply it. You roll it on, but I feel like you really cannot control the amount of product that you get out when you're doing that. And I don't feel like the actual product does a lot for like priming. It offers like a bit of a glow to the skin, but nothing that's gonna last. And I don't feel like it offers any sort of tack or grit that's really gonna prolong my makeup. So I really just think it's a gimmicky, expensive product. So this, not worth it in my opinion. And then I did purchase 2 questionable perfumes. I have one of them on right now because I was like wanting to like give it another go. I'm gonna start with this one because it's smaller. This is the Kayali Vanilla Royale, the sugared patchouli. I thought I was going to absolutely love this because I love patchouli, and I thought I loved vanilla. But vanilla really can lean almost too warm and too sugary and just too sweet for me. And last year, I almost tried to either sell this or like give it to a friend, and I just haven't even gotten around to that. Thankfully, I only purchased this in the travel size, but I tried wearing this like 2 or 3 times last year, and I like was gagging. And with Kayali fragrances, I do feel like they have a really good lasting power. So it was like I was smelling myself all day. I was trying to mix this with different things, and I was like, nothing, I can't get this to work. I think this is gaggable. I do not like this. I will say, now that I have tried more scents, kind of expanded my nose palette, I put this on, I'm like, it's definitely not a favorite. I would not go purchase this when I finish this, but I kind of like it. kind of is like a spicy vanilla. And I don't hate it like I remember hating it last year. So hopefully I can get through this winter, because I definitely feel like it's more of a winter scent. It's definitely a heavier scent, which I don't mind. It's not an absolute favorite. Could I have skipped this and been totally fine? Yes. So that I don't think was worth the purchase. And then I did not buy the travel size in the Kayali Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper, nor did I buy the smaller little, I guess I didn't realize at the time, you can get a smaller size of this that still comes in this very cute packaging. I also, based on the pictures online, thought this was going to be like a marbled pink packaging, where it's definitely a metallic pink. I still think the packaging is really cute, but I think I would have been much happier either not owning this or getting a smaller size. This is another one though. When I used this last year, I was like, this is just disgusting, not for me. I'm definitely gonna sell it. I had heard people comparing this to, what was the one I liked from MAC? Velvet Teddy, which if they ever came back with that, I would literally buy 5 at a time. I love that scent so much and miss it so much. That was like a vanilla tobacco sort of scent. This, I sprayed on me again. So what's interesting is last year I was like, I don't like this, but then I would spray it on something, put it in, like, I would wear it. Then I like put those clothes in the wash, and when I went to like wash my clothes days later, I smelled this pink pepper and I was like, wait a minute, do I actually like this? So then I would spray it on me again and I'd be like, no. But what I realized is I do not like the opening of this. It's so strong. It definitely has a peppery smell to it, but it's like, it's almost like I like this right off of first sniff, but then like a minute later you get like on the back end of things, which I don't know how to describe perfume, so I don't know how to describe like the ending, like the opening. I'm like the very opening, I'm like, okay, but then like there's something at the end where I'm like, wait, like I thought I liked that a second ago. But then if I wear this for like 2 hours, I won't like the first 2 hours of wear, but then I like the deep dry down. Like I really do like it. So I'm gonna keep this in my collection. There are some of the fragrances that I wanna pick up. I wanna pick up 2 at least. I kind of want the whole Oudgasm line, but I want 2 of the Oudgasm ones. I'm gonna get the cute little bottles, like the $38 bottles where it still looks like this, but in a miniature size. And I want to definitely expand my Kayali collection. I really want to get the pistachio one, but I'm gonna see if that one is on sale during Kayali's or Huda Beauty's Black Friday sale. Do I wish this was smaller? Yes. And if I didn't own this, I would not be upset. Like if someone like stole this from me, I don't even know if I'd notice. It wasn't worth the purchase, but I definitely like it more now than I did last year. And then a third fragrance. Love it so much. I repurchased Replica by the Fireplace because this is my favorite scent of all time. I do like to reserve this for the fall winter, but this scent I've talked about so many times, so I like don't want to go on and on, but it is my favorite scent of all time. It has this deep woody smoky blend with like this sweetness, and it is like from the bottom of my soul, it is the best thing I've ever smelled. I love this so much. So obviously that was worth the purchase. And then the final products, the makeup products to finish it up with, there are 2 eyeshadow palettes that I purchased. The first one being the Melt Cosmetics Bad Side Zodiac Earth palette. I really enjoyed this. This kind of gave me like updated Subculture vibes, and I like the grungy tones. And I felt like the formula was really well done, which sometimes I feel like Melt's formula is a little bit difficult to work with, but I actually really enjoyed this. So I feel like this one was worth the purchase. After using this one, I kind of wanted to purchase the rest of the palettes in the line, but I held back. But I feel like that tells you I did really enjoy this. And then I also purchased the Huda Beauty Empowered palette, which I love. I love the Huda large palettes. I get so excited for them every year. I am so freaking excited for the grunge palette because I feel like the Huda grunge palette is literally Huda Smoky Obsessions in large form. And if you guys know, you know, I was obsessed with my Huda Smoky. It came with me on every single trip. Like literally I was obsessed with the Huda Obsessions. I talked about it all the time. But like so many of my shades broke, and that palette is truly so old that I finally decluttered it. So when I saw the teaser photos of the grunge, I was like, done, obsessed, would have bought it anyway. But like this is pure perfection. So I hope it translates into actual like great quality, but I'm so excited for that. All that to say, I really enjoyed the Huda Empowered palette as well. In fact, I recently pulled this back out to play around with this, and I love this one because it's a little bit different than what Huda has done in the past, at least for her larger palettes. It's definitely deeper, definitely smokier, and a lot sultrier. And I just really enjoyed this one. I really actually love the shade Manifest It, which is one of those like weird shades that kind of has that like weird jelly formula to it, but it looks so beautiful on the eyes. I always love that Huda Beauty has so many different textures and finishes amongst her like satins and shimmers and metallics. So I definitely think this one was also worth the purchase. Definitely worth the purchase, but haven't reached for it as much this year is my Haus Labs Cobalt Blue. What do they actually? Cobalt Matte. This cobalt blue eyeliner. I was obsessed with this last year. I have blue eyes, and I really felt like the cobalt blue in the waterline really made my eyes pop. It's a shame that I've kind of put this away. I need to pull it back out. So we're gonna do that. Do I think that you likely can find a less expensive cobalt blue eyeliner? Yes. And for me, it's not really like the Haus Labs formula that I think was worth it. I just like really enjoy having a cobalt blue eyeliner in my collection. So maybe check like NYX out. LA Girl usually has colorful eyeliners, but cobalt blue I really enjoyed. I also purchased the Tower 28 Lip Jelly Duo last holiday. I've already used up one of the shades. I do still own the shade Dream, which I should really pull back out because this is it's kind of giving Lawless Forget the Filler Annie vibes, in that it's just this really beautiful pale champagne sort of shade with a beautiful shimmer running through it. You guys know I love the Tower 28 lip gloss formula. I've owned, I think, at least 7 or 8 of these at this point in time, and it continues to be a favorite formula. My only gripe is I feel like I feel like these I use up really, really quickly. I feel like I reapply them quite frequently. They are really comfortable on the lips, not sticky, not gritty, and I do still highly recommend the formula. And then the final product that I purchased last year during the VIB sale was the NARS Rising Star Cheek Palette. I freaking love the NARS face palettes, you guys already know. And I really liked this one because I felt like it was a little bit different than the NARS palettes that they always do, the like basically same exact 6 shades. I really liked the addition of these 2 shades, especially this one, because I felt like it had that like purple lilac sort of finish to it. In fact, I actually have this mixed with a different pink on my cheeks today. I really enjoy it. I do get a lot of use. I got a lot of use out of both of these shades. This is a really great kind of neutral mid-toned pink for really any look. I loved this coral shade for the springtime. This is pretty similar. Like you can find both of these 2 shades in other NARS palettes as well as this. But I really liked the star design as well. There's star imprints in the in the pans. Formula is phenomenal, as is always the case in my opinion with the NARS face palettes. So this was definitely worth the purchase. I've gotten a ton of use out of this palette. I will say I have definitely started to really love face palettes over the last like 12-ish months, 12 to 18 months. And there's a like part of me that's like, should I just get rid of all of my like single blushes and just like have my face palettes? So I love my face palettes, but I probably won't do that. Regardless, this NARS palette was also a favorite purchase of last year and definitely worth it in my opinion. But after that, you guys, those are all of the products that I purchased during Sephora VIB sales last year. I would love to know, did you purchase any hits or any like true misses during the Sephora sales last year? What do you plan to pick up, if anything, during this sale? Let a girl know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.